The summer season means more boaters out on the bay, and that means more calls for the Bowleys Quarters Volunteer Fire Department's Marine units. We visited Bowleys Quarters recently to get a closer look at how this community's first responders keep us safe in the water.
With 178 miles of coastline, 3 reservoirs, and numerous creeks and rivers, Baltimore County offers plenty of opportunity for water-related accidents. Every year, boaters fall overboard, swimmers become overwhelmed, and sudden turns in the weather change a pleasant outing to something sinister. The Bowleys Quarters Volunteer Fire Company Marine Unit is a critical piece of the Baltimore County Fire Service's Water Rescue Toolkit, which also includes several swiftwater teams and a dive team. Bowleys Quarters is a small waterfront community dating back to the 1700s. The enclave of about 6,000 people sits on a peninsula surrounded by the Seneca, Frog Mortar, and Galloway Creeks and the Chesapeake Bay. For years a summer vacation spot, Bowleys Quarters attracted year-round blue-collar workers during the mid-20th century as the nearby Sparrows Point steel industry boomed. By the end of the century, the boom was over, and Bowleys suffered the depression common to many of the working-class neighborhoods in eastern Baltimore County. In the 1990s, the demand for waterfront property prompted demographic changes in Bowleys Quarters. The older, working-class property owners sold to newcomers who began building bigger, more expensive homes. Then, in 2003, flooding from Hurricane Isabel devastated the community. The rebuilding and revitalization that followed further hastened the change from a down-at-the-heels, blue-collar village to desirable, upscale waterfront community. But one thing has never changed in Bowleys Quarters: the water, and the way it is a part of life here.
Obviously, Bowleys Quarters is a peninsula surrounded by water on 3 sides. A large percentage of the housing are waterfront houses, and therefore people have always gravitated to the water for boating, for swimming. In the past, we had probably a dozen or more commercial users that operated off of our shoreline, but that's dwindled down quite a bit in the last few years. But we still have a lot of recreational boaters that are out there almost every weekend, sometimes during the week, and that obviously creates a potential for accidents to happen.
Before the mid-1980s, the Bowleys volunteers used a wooden rowboat equipped with a motor that propelled it to about 10 miles per hour to rescue people from the water. In 1986, the company took a major step up when it purchased a 17-foot Boston whaler with a 90-horsepower motor and a fire pump capable of flowing 350 gallons per minute. It also bought a 13-foot Zodiac inflatable boat for inland water rescues.
In '86, we upgraded to our 17-foot whaler and a couple of Zodiacs. We operated them for 4 or 5 years and very successfully, but we found that both of those had their limitations when you got rescue calls out beyond Hart Miller Island in the open bay. So in 1991, we were able to purchase a 25-foot Parker sport cabin, which gave us some protection for the crew. Had a little bit more speed capability, obviously a lot more handling of heavy water, and we operated it until the end of 2006, at which point we have now replaced it actually with a 30-foot Grady White 30-foot Marlin. Our community in 2003 was affected by Hurricane Isabel, and drastic tidal flooding occurred. Where we're standing right now filming was underwater about to my knee level. And during that episode, I, along with several other people, were on the 25-foot Parker from 2 in the morning till about 2 the next afternoon. In that time frame, we evacuated up around 100 people from their homes in the Seneca Creek area and used the boat for several other medical emergencies and things like that.
Today, Bowleys Quarters marine capabilities include 3 boats. Marine 216, a 2003 Jones Brothers 18-foot center console, is used for inland water rescues and on the bay as far as Hart Miller Island. In April, Marine 216 was deployed to a woods fire in the Loch Raven Reservoir. Marine 217 is a larger version of Marine 216. It was deployed to the Baltimore City water taxi disaster. Marine 219 is a 30-foot Grady White capable of speeds up to 45 miles per hour and equipped with a 550-gallon-per-minute pump. With GPS and radar systems and ample space for crew, it can handle open bay rescues in all but extreme conditions. The Bowleys Marine units handle incidents in the bay and other waters with tidal action. They also assist with open water rescues and woods and boat fires in the inland reservoirs.
During any given season, we have normally responded to between 35 and 50 water-related incidents. Those can be on the open bay, they can be on the reservoirs, and we found that fires anymore, and boat fires particularly, have dwindled down a lot, but most of our incidents now are EMS related, for people falling overboard, boating accidents, collisions, those types of things take up more than 50% of what we respond to. And we actually have a semi-official working relationship with Kent County. Many of the areas on their western shoreline we have a better response time to than their own units, so they call us to assist them quite a few times a year.
At any given time, between 35 and 40 members of the Bowleys Quarters Volunteer Fire Company are trained to man the boats. All take the Maryland Basic Boating Course, plus several hours of procedural training involving the use of life vests, marine fire equipment, and other apparatus. Marine unit members have a refresher each year, including a tabletop scenario and practical drills.
And once again, we hope that it's a quiet summer. We encourage everyone to be safe, to check the weather, to get your boating instruction before you go on the water, and obviously to wear your PFDs when you're on board. But if you do get into trouble on the bay, our units will be available to respond and help you as needed.